Before you scramble, fry, or boil your next egg, you need to hear this. Because the simple, perfect food you trust the most could be harboring a secret danger. For years, we've celebrated eggs as a nutritional powerhouse, a staple for senior health. But what if I told you that the way you handle and cook them is exposing you to risks that are more serious than you can imagine? I'm not talking about cholesterol. I'm talking about 7 common, seemingly innocent mistakes made in the kitchen every single day. Mistakes that can turn a healthy meal into a severe health threat. The difference between a safe, nourishing meal and a trip to the emergency room often comes down to these 7 quick secrets. If you or someone you love eats eggs regularly, you absolutely cannot afford to miss a single one of these warnings. Watch closely, because your life and your health depend on it. 1. Washing the eggs when you get home. You believe you're doing the right thing, the hygienic thing, the thing your mother taught you. But this first mistake, committed in the sanctuary of your own kitchen, is a profound and shocking betrayal of food safety principles. Imagine this. You've just brought home that fresh carton of eggs, and your instinct is to run them under the tap to clean off any debris or germs. But stop immediately, because this simple act is opening a deadly gate into your breakfast. In the United States, and in most commercial processing plants, eggs are intentionally washed before they are packaged for sale. This process is rigorous, and it serves a distinct, critical purpose. This washing removes the natural, incredibly fine, invisible protective layer on the eggshell called the cuticle. The cuticle acts as the egg's personal bodyguard, a shield that completely seals the thousands of microscopic pores that naturally exist in the shell. Once the commercial washing process removes the cuticle, the egg is then immediately sprayed with a thin, food-safe mineral oil or a similar coating to replace that lost shield. This layer is crucial for resealing those pores, delaying inevitable bacterial invasion. But when you, the consumer, decide to re-wash the eggs at home, you are doing something far worse than just removing surface dirt. You are stripping away that last, fragile, replacement protective layer, making the shell porous and vulnerable again. You are essentially dissolving the final barrier, creating a clear pathway for harmful, illness-causing bacteria, most notably Salmonella, which thrive in wet environments. This bacteria can be drawn right through the now exposed pores into the nutritious, warm interior of the egg. You are not cleaning the egg, you are contaminating it through a process known as capillary action. The wash water, now possibly contaminated by the outer shell, is sucked inside. This isn't just about a mild stomach upset. For seniors who have often compromised or weaker immune systems, this breach of the natural defense system can lead to severe food poisoning that requires hospitalization and, in the most tragic cases, can be fatal. The simple golden rule is this: once the eggs are in your possession, never let them touch water. Trust the industrial process, which is designed to be sterile. Attempting to clean them yourself only accelerates their decay and dramatically increases the risk of infection. Remember this single, critical detail the next time your hand reaches for the faucet. Washing is a risk, not a safeguard. 2. Storing eggs in the refrigerator door. Look inside your refrigerator right now. Where are your eggs sitting? If they are nestled neatly in the little, pre-formed trays built into the refrigerator door, you are making a profound and dangerous error. This mistake significantly speeds up the deterioration and risk of the eggs you plan to eat. Manufacturers place those holders there because it's a convenient, appealing spot, a brilliant piece of marketing design. But it is actually the absolute worst place in your entire fridge for the safety of your eggs. Eggs require one thing above all others for safe, long-term storage: temperature consistency. They need to remain constantly cold, ideally at a temperature of 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below, to drastically slow down the multiplication of any latent bacteria. The refrigerator door, however, is a zone of extreme thermal instability. Every time you open the fridge to grab milk, juice, or leftovers, the door swings out into the warmer ambient air of your kitchen. The temperature inside the door compartment instantly spikes. This constant, repeated temperature fluctuation, the daily thermal shock, is what causes the danger. It makes the door the warmest, most volatile area of the entire appliance. This is precisely the kind of unstable environment that encourages rapid bacterial growth. The cold to warm to cold cycle causes the egg's natural defenses to break down faster. It can even cause condensation on the shell, creating the moist conditions bacteria love. This is especially concerning because when an egg warms up even slightly, it can create a vacuum effect. This effect essentially sucks any surface bacteria through the shell pores, making the inside contaminated. The solution is simple, yet crucially overlooked. Keep your eggs in their original cardboard carton. The carton is designed to offer a layer of insulation and prevent the absorption of odors from other foods. Then, place the carton deep inside the main body of the refrigerator, ideally on a middle or lower shelf. These areas provide the most stable, coldest temperatures. This ensures that the eggs maintain that crucial 40-degree maximum required to inhibit the growth of dangerous pathogens. Never prioritize convenience over consistency. Maintaining a stable cold chain is your first and last line of defense against serious food poisoning. 3. Eating eggs with a cracked shell. This mistake preys directly on your good nature, on your understandable reluctance to waste food. But yielding to that feeling is a decision that could put you directly in harm's way. We've all been there. You open the carton and find one egg has a small, hairline crack. Or maybe it fractures slightly when you accidentally tap it on the counter, and you think, it's barely broken, I can salvage this. But that thought is a dangerous deception. A crack, no matter how minute or insignificant it appears to your eye, is a catastrophic structural failure for the egg. It entirely and immediately compromises the egg's most fundamental and only physical barrier against the outside world. The surface of the eggshell and the carton it rests in is a common place where bacteria like Salmonella can be found. When the shell is intact, these bacteria are held at bay. But the moment that fracture occurs, it creates a direct, open pathway for those harmful microorganisms to travel from the outside surface straight into the highly nutritious, vulnerable interior of the egg. You might argue that you can just cook it immediately, but the contamination happens in the instant of the crack, before you even apply heat. Once the bacteria are inside, they can begin to multiply rapidly, especially if the egg is at all warm. Furthermore, the egg's internal membranes, which provide a secondary layer of defense, are also often damaged by the force that caused the crack. This makes the contamination pathway even easier. For older adults, the consequence of consuming a bacterially compromised egg is not just an unpleasant evening. It often means a severe systemic infection requiring intensive medical treatment. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention constantly emphasizes that any egg with a compromised shell should be discarded immediately and without hesitation. Do not attempt to use it in baking. Do not try to scramble it quickly, and certainly do not risk your health to save a few cents. The tiny cost of one egg is incomparable to the cost of a hospital stay or the anguish of severe illness. Please adopt a zero-tolerance policy for cracked eggs. It is a simple but life-saving rule for senior health. 4. Eating soft-cooked or raw eggs. This mistake is about a culinary pleasure that clashes directly with undeniable safety statistics, creating a dangerous scenario that puts taste over caution. Many of us cherish that delicate, velvety texture of a soft-boiled egg with the yolk still runny. Or perhaps we enjoy the richness that raw eggs add to a homemade Caesar salad dressing or a beautiful hollandaise sauce. It feels indulgent, but every time you consume an egg that has not been cooked completely through, you are playing a game of chance with a bacterium that can be deadly, Salmonella. While industrial safety practices have improved, it is an unfortunate, unavoidable reality that Salmonella can reside inside an otherwise healthy, intact egg. It can be present in the yolk or the white before the shell is even broken. The only reliable way to kill this bacteria is through heat. To be considered safe, both the egg white and the yolk must reach an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit and be held there long enough for the structure to become firm. A runny yolk, the kind that beautifully coats toast or mixes into rice, has simply not reached that safety threshold. It looks perfect, but it is potentially a time bomb of bacteria. This is particularly distressing for older adults, whose immune systems are less capable of fighting off the aggressive, systemic infection that salmonella causes. The statistics show that the risk of severe illness and hospitalization is dramatically higher in people over the age of 65. If you must consume eggs that are not fully cooked, you should only use pasteurized eggs. These have been gently heated in the shell to kill bacteria without cooking them. But even then, thorough cooking is always the safest choice. We understand the sympathy for losing that luscious, creamy texture, but the reality of food safety demands that you prioritize the firm, cooked state of the egg. Make the switch. Fully cooked, firm whites and yolks are a sign of safety, not a compromise in flavor. Choosing this method is an act of self-preservation that minimizes your exposure to a severe, life-altering risk. 5. Not checking the sell-by date. This mistake seems like the most obvious one, yet it is one of the most frequently and casually ignored steps at the grocery store. Its neglect can set off a chain reaction of decay that accelerates unseen. When you grab a carton, you look for the price, maybe the color. But do you flip it over and really scrutinize that small, often confusingly labeled date stamp? You must, because the sell-by date is far more than just a regulatory formality. It is a safety warning that indicates the point where the egg's internal quality and natural resistance to bacteria begin to rapidly decline. Eggs are amazing biological packages, but they are not immortal. Even when refrigerated perfectly, the internal quality degrades over time. This means the thin protective membranes right under the shell weaken, and the internal structure of the white and yolk starts to break down. This degradation makes the egg less resilient to any external contamination that might have occurred. The official recommendation from health bodies is clear. Eggs should ideally be consumed within 3 to 5 weeks from the date they are placed into the refrigeration system. The sell-by date is the manufacturer's best guess at ensuring you have this safe consumption window. If you purchase eggs right on the sell-by date, you may have as little as 1 week of optimal freshness and safety left. Ignoring this date means you are introducing eggs into your kitchen that have already lost too much of their defensive strength, making them significantly more susceptible to bacterial multiplication. Think of the date as a time lock on safety. A fresher egg is a safer egg because its internal membranes are stronger and its natural pH levels are more hostile to pathogens. Therefore, the simple, critical habit to adopt is this. Always reach to the back of the shelf at the store and select the carton with the latest possible sell-by date. This small act of due diligence ensures you are maximizing your safety window and minimizing the likelihood of consuming an egg that has passed its prime defensive capability, safeguarding your health with a simple glance at a 4-digit code. 6. Leaving cooked eggs out too long. This mistake involves cooked eggs, which many people mistakenly believe are completely safe once they have been heated. Yet this is perhaps the most alarming error because it creates a perfect, nutrient-rich environment for bacteria to rapidly multiply. Whether it's a bowl of leftover scrambled eggs sitting out after breakfast or a batch of hard-boiled eggs cooling on the counter, leaving any cooked protein at room temperature for an extended period is a direct invitation for pathogenic colonization. Cooked eggs fall squarely within the danger zone of temperature. This is officially defined as the range between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Within this dangerous window, bacteria can double in number every 20 minutes, meaning that a small initial contamination can explode into a toxic concentration in a surprisingly short time. The strict safety guideline is that cooked eggs, including deviled eggs or hard-boiled eggs, must never be left out for more than 2 hours. If the ambient temperature in your kitchen is warmer, specifically above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, that safe window shrinks drastically to just 1 hour. This is not a suggestion, it is a crucial, non-negotiable food safety limit. After those 120 minutes have passed, the bacterial load on the food can reach levels that make it genuinely unsafe for consumption, even if it looks and smells perfectly fine. This rapid bacterial growth is why this mistake is a leading cause of foodborne illness in homes. For older adults, consuming food with such a high concentration of pathogens often leads to severe gastroenteritis, dehydration, and potentially a systemic infection that is difficult to fight off. The only way to stop this rapid microbial multiplication is to immediately refrigerate all cooked egg products. Place them in a shallow, airtight container to encourage quick cooling. Get them below that critical 40-degree safety threshold as fast as possible. Do not wait for them to cool completely on the counter. Refrigerate them promptly. This small change in routine ensures that your leftover eggs remain safe, preventing a potentially catastrophic health event caused by delayed cooling. 7. Thinking brown eggs are healthier. This final mistake is less about direct contamination and more about a widespread misconception that leads to unnecessary spending and a false sense of security. It diverts your focus from what truly matters for safety. Many consumers, and especially those focused on optimal senior health, operate under the deep-seated belief that brown-shelled eggs are somehow more natural, more organic, or inherently more nutritious than their white counterparts. This belief, while understandable given the marketing surrounding natural products, is an absolute myth. The color of the eggshell is determined by one single factor: the breed of the hen. Hens with white earlobes typically lay white eggs, and hens with red or brown earlobes typically lay brown eggs. This is purely a matter of genetics and pigment deposition, with zero effect on the egg's internal quality, nutritional profile, or safety. Whether you are paying extra for brown eggs or selecting the cheaper white ones, the vitamin content, protein count, and caloric value are identical, assuming the hens were raised on the same diet. The difference in price, if one exists, is typically due to the fact that the breeds that lay brown eggs, like the Rhode Island Red, are often larger birds that require more feed. Therefore, the farmer's production cost is higher. This mistaken belief that brown equals better creates a psychological blind spot. Consumers focus on the external color instead of the critical internal factors. You are wasting precious mental energy and money on a cosmetic difference while neglecting the true safety indicators: the sell-by date, the shell integrity, and the storage temperature. Do not let a marketing illusion distract you from the real threats. The hope is that now, understanding this simple scientific truth, you can make wiser choices. You can confidently buy the most affordable, freshest carton available, regardless of shell color, and instead, apply your vigilance to the 7 critical mistakes discussed in this video. This knowledge empowers you to focus entirely on safe handling and proper cooking, which are the only factors that truly determine the safety and nutritional benefit of the egg you eat. Now you know the stark truth. The difference between a safe, nourishing meal and a serious health risk often comes down to these 7 mistakes, simple, hidden errors that compromise the very food you trust. We've unmasked why washing your eggs is a profound danger, why your fridge door is a temperature trap, and why consuming undercooked eggs is a gamble your immune system cannot afford after the age of 65. The fear of the unknown danger is gone, replaced by critical knowledge. Your hope for better health starts right now with the immediate decision to change these habits. Don't let a small, daily oversight lead to a catastrophic event. Take control of your kitchen safety today. Action is critical. Hit the like button right now if you learned a single new safety fact. Subscribe to this channel for more unconventional senior health truths that keep you safe. And finally, tell me in the comments, which of the 7 mistakes are you stopping immediately in your kitchen tonight? Stay vigilant, stay safe, and enjoy your eggs without fear.